And the cool thing is, looking back at your early days, talking about financial innovation and all of that, I'm pretty sure you saw all the different moments that we're going through. I think perhaps in the beginning, much more talking. The talk was all about digital banking, and you prove it about with moving and your book that there is a change to be made back then, and then digital transformation of banks, all the stuff. Can you say a few things about how about all the changes and the moments and the milestones that we've been going through, and if there's some specific conversations that 2010 was like all about digital banking and so on so forth.
Well, I mean, one of the interesting things is I made some bets. I'm a futurist, right? Yeah. So I made some bets in Bank 2.0, some that turned out to be very accurate, some not so, right? So one that, I predicted the decline of branch banking, back in 2005, really, right? I actually, this is interesting. The book that became Bank 2.0 actually started as a strategy report for HSBC in 2005, which was called HSBC 2.0, which was looking at what HSBC would look like in 2020. Right.
Got it.
And in that, I said basically 2008, internet will overtake branches for transactional activity. And by 2015, mobile would overtake both the branch and, the internet. Now, at the time, that was a big deal because remember, this was 2005. We didn't have smartphones.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a pretty big bet.
It was a long shot.
Yeah. So 2010, when Bank 2 came out, so Bank 2009 was when I finished that book. But in there, I predicted that by 2030, that branches in the United States would be half what they were at the time in 2010. Right? Oh, yeah. I also predicted that mobile wallets would overtake plastic cards by 2017. Yeah. And I predicted that paper checks would be eliminated for most of the world by 2018, right?
But yeah, this part, they're still on in the US.
So the checks are still used in the US, which blows my mind. But so 2016, I predicted mobile wallets would overtake cards, and that was 2017 and that's mainly driven by the mobile wallets in China.
Oh,
right?
Got it.
Because they and today, next year, essentially mobile wallets will do twice the transactions of plastic cards and tokenized cards. So, value store-based wallets and rails like Pix and UPI and so forth. Combined, this will be about 60% of all retail transactions, and about 30% are cards and tokenized cards. So this includes Apple Pay and Samsung Pay and so forth. So that was pretty spot on. And as you know, we just worked on a book together, Branch Today, Gone Tomorrow, which comes out next year, which shows that we hit peak branch in 2015. Which is breaking news because that's never been published before. So I feel like I pretty much got that right. But I think the big milestones and changes that have happened since then is we're really in the mobile first era in terms of banking now. Yeah. You have Nubank, which is the largest bank outside of Asia, and if you look at the top 50 fastest growing financial institutions in the world, none of them are a traditional bank, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got Revolut now with coming up on 50 million customers in this month, and they will, like how that compares with HSBC with 39 million customers now, right?
That's amazing.
Nubank has almost twice the customers of Itaú, right? Of course, Banco de Brazil is larger, but Itaú was the most valuable bank in Brazil until Nubank came along. And then you've got WeBank in China, in Shenzhen, with 450 million customers now. Alipay with 1.6 billion customers. So, the fact is, and the data from the new book is, we for the top 20 fintechs in the world, they now have 4 billion customers. and the top 20 banks, 2.7 billion customers. So this is the biggest milestone for me. You know, I was talking about all of this, 15 years ago, about how technology-based banking would be the standard for the way we move forward, and that's clearly the reality now.
Fantastic. Yeah, and that's a very interesting progression to witness, and some of the numbers you definitely got it right, and but I think there's a lot of things to happen as well, because you see players like Nubank, and you had the chance to talk to David Velas.
Yes.
Very recently.
Yeah, I'm interviewing him for a new book I'm working on, which is called The Rise of the Challengers.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is basically trying to document all of these. So Nick from Revolut, I interviewed Max from N26, Josh and Shamir, Alex, all my friends who started these challenger banks, Tavit from Wise, all these guys. I want to interview them and sort of document this next generation of financial services infrastructure that we see emerging, how that happened over the last decade.
Fantastic.